The Iowa women's basketball program and its hearty fan base aren't strangers to new chapters. They turned the page 2 decades ago following the graduation of record-breaking point guard Sam Logic. 5 years ago, they moved on from Naismith winner and Associated Press Player of the Year Megan Gustafson, then quickly again the following season when Big Ten Player of the Year Kathleen Doyle left. Nothing compares to this new book in the series. Graduating generational talent and NCAA Division I all-time leading scorer Caitlin Clark is the dawn of a new era. Kate Martin and Gabby Marshall, two starters who played alongside her for 4 years and 2 national championship game runs, also ended their collegiate careers. Lisa Bluder, Iowa's all-time winningest coach over 24 seasons, entered retirement a month later. It's going to be a little bit of rebuilding, first-year head coach Jan Jensen, a longtime Hawkeyes assistant, said at Big Ten Basketball Media Days last month. Iowa, which started the year outside of the Associated Press Top 25 poll, returns only one regular season starter, junior forward Hannah Stuelk, as well as senior guard Sydney Affolter, a top reserve who stepped into a standout postseason starting role. There are 8 returners combining for 40.8% of Iowa's minutes and 35% of its scoring offense last year. Joining the crew are 5 freshmen, part of Iowa's top 15 ranked recruiting class, and heralded transfer point guard Lucy Olson, who faces the tall task of taking over for Clark. It will be a rather seamless transition at the top as Jensen spent 24 years as an assistant on Bluder's Iowa staff. The Iowa native also played for Bluder as a senior at Drake and joined the coaching staff there as an assistant. There won't be a massive overhaul, but rather a continuation of the program's success and minor tweaks along the way. What's gotten us to this point has been a pretty good formula, Jensen said at Media Day. And I think the formula has always started and will always be, in my opinion, about the people. And I think we've been able to coach with great people. We've been able to recruit great people and attract great people to join us and stay with us. Jensen and Bluder went to 18 NCAA tournaments together and became the first team in Big Ten Conference history to play in back-to-back national title games. The 2023 championship game was the program's first ever and the second Final Four berth in history, 1993. The protagonist in those tales is Clark, a back-to-back consensus player of the year who led DI in scoring 3 of her 4 seasons. The recently named WNBA Rookie of the Year averaged a career-high 31.6 points per game, contributing 34% of Iowa's 91 PPG offense, 7.4 rebounds and career-high 8.9 assists. In the game she broke the DI women's scoring record. Clark scored or assisted on 79 of Iowa's 106 points, 74.5%. She was amazing. She pretty much brought everything to the team, Olson said, adding no one should watch expecting half-court shots from the team's newest point guard. Jensen said adding Olson, a 3-year starter at Villanova, was one of the biggest gets in the transfer portal. She averaged 23.3 PPG as a junior last year, third in DI behind Clark and USC's Juju Watkins, 27.1 PPG, who Iowa will now face in the Big Ten. Olson plays more of her game in the mid-range than deep beyond the three-point line. She's crafty, but not to the level of full-court football passes in transition. She has experience playing powerhouse UConn and faced Big Ten opponents Illinois, 22 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, and Penn State, 21 points, 3 to 5 from 3, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, last year. The Associated Press All-American honorable mention initially committed to Bluder. When she saw the returning players stayed on to play for Jensen after the coaching announcement, she opted to as well. It's not merely readjusting after losing Clark. It took an entire team to build a contender during the Clark era, and those crucial pieces are no longer there for support. Martin, known as Iowa's glue, did a little of everything before receiving a surprise WNBA draft selection by the Las Vegas Aces. Marshall, their sharpshooting floor spacer, completed 5 seasons of eligibility and is pursuing a master's degree. Molly Davis, a crucial point guard transfer, and Sharon Goodman, the first big off the bench, are also gone. Stuelk is the overlapping connector. The junior 6'2" forward is an elite rim runner who showcased what she's capable of with a Carver Hawkeye Arena record 47 points during Clark's record chase. She averaged 14 points, 6.6 rebounds and 1.2 assists per game as a sophomore second-team All-Big Ten honoree. Jensen said she's adding outside shots to her catalog. Affolter, who stepped in for Davis in the postseason and earned Big Ten All-Tournament Team and Albany 2 All-Regional Team honors, will be another key leader. She is coming off an off-season surgical scope of her knee and returned in the second game of Iowa's season. Addison O'Grady, a 6'4" senior center buried in the depth chart her 3-year career, will need to take the next step. She already showed her potential on a perfect 9 of 9 outing against Virginia Tech on Sunday. There are options in the backcourt with redshirt senior Kylie Feuerbach, junior Taylor McCabe, freshman Tegan Maligny and freshman Taylor Stremlow. With so much depth, Jensen said it will be critical to use it wisely. It is difficult to replace that much offensive firepower so quickly. Jensen, an offensive-oriented coach who grew up playing 6-on-6 basketball, took stock of the situation. When we assembled earlier and we started to look at our personnel, we really thought that this team had the potential to be one of our better defensive teams that we've had in the last few years, Jensen said following a 71-50 win in the Allied tip-off against Virginia Tech. Because with our offense we graduated so much, the points, the percentage, the field goals, all of that I just wanted to try and have a counter, and I think tonight that it showed. Iowa feasted upon fast-paced shootouts to stack victories last season, and although they could stand up strong defensively for late stops, it wasn't a calling card. They ranked in the 40th percentile of defensive rating the last 3 years, per her hoop stats. This team, Jensen and players have said repeatedly, will change that. With the scoring that left the previous years, there's a lot to fill, and I think we're not going to have someone shooting from the logo anymore, unfortunately, Affolter told reporters last month. But I think definitely stepping up on our defense is super important. Same philosophy as last year, but change it up a little, with a couple things, and really perfecting our zone as well. The Hawkeyes not only have to grapple with a new age sans their superstar, they're tasked with facing the next generational talent. Watkins, the reigning and Myers-Drysdale winner for the nation's best shooting guard, is their conference competition after USC joined the Big Ten. USC and UCLA are two of the favorites to win the conference and also tapped to potentially make the Final Four. The addition of the two former Pac-12 powerhouses, plus Washington and Oregon, make the Big Ten arguably the best and deepest women's basketball conference in the country. It did nothing but make us better, Jensen said. Is it harder? Heck yeah. But that's what makes you great. Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark has quickly become one of the faces of basketball. As such, she's inspired many young girls who have watched her development from a standout talent at Iowa to becoming one of the premier stars of the WNBA. During a speaking appearance on a panel at the LPGA's Women's Leadership Summit on Tuesday, Clark was asked about the significance of her platform and her ability to inspire the youth. I would say, the young girls that are at our games screaming and having the time of their lives, and you go up to them and they start crying. It's cute, but also I was just in their shoes. You know, however many years ago, I was begging my dad or my mom to take me to whatever sporting event it was. And I was screaming that I wanted to meet the players. Because it was so impactful. I wanted to be who they were, said Clark. That's the reason that you play. It's not because of the wins and the points you score. It's the amount of joy that you can bring people and the young girls that will one day grow up to hopefully be whatever they want to be, added Clark. Clark is only 22 years old. She's seen her popularity skyrocket throughout the past few years while helping to put a spotlight on women's basketball. Not long ago, she was in a similar position to the adoring fans who attend Fever games at Gainbridge Fieldhouse rocking her number 22 jersey. She made clear that she's not taking for granted her ability to serve as an inspiration for those young girls. At just 22 years of age, Annika Sorenstam was wrapping up a stellar collegiate career at the University of Arizona, poised to turn professional and embark on a legendary journey that saw her rack up an astonishing 97 professional wins and 10 LPGA major championships. Fast forward to today, and we find Sorenstam at the Annika Women's Leadership Summit, engaged in conversation with another extraordinary 22-year-old, Caitlin Clark. Although these two athletes hail from different sports, they are united as trailblazers in the world of women's athletics, each standing as a beacon of inspiration. In 2024, Clark has emerged as a household name across America, guiding Iowa to another NCAA runner-up finish, being selected as the first overall pick by the Indiana Fever, and enjoying a historic rookie season in the WNBA. She has adapted seamlessly to the professional game, dominating as a scorer and playmaker. In her inaugural season, Clark broke the WNBA record for most assists in a single game with 19, became the first rookie in league history to achieve a triple-double, and was aptly named WNBA Rookie of the Year. What ties Clark and Sorenstam together is not merely their astounding achievements, but their driving motivations. Neither athlete set out to become icons, they simply aimed to excel in their respective passions. Clark reflected on her journey, having explored various sports including golf before zeroing in on basketball during high school. She stated, "I wanted to practice, and I think that's what set it apart for me. I was dedicated to improving, spending time honing my skills, whereas the other sports I played were more about fun with friends." Despite her competitive nature across all sports, it was the passion for basketball that ignited her desire to elevate her game. "My love for practice and my will to improve were the game changers for me. It wasn't just playing, it was about pushing myself to be better. That's what I truly enjoyed," she explained. On the other side of the globe, Sorenstam was trying her hand at various sports in Sweden, from skiing to tennis, before discovering her true calling in golf. She was drawn to the intricacies and challenges of the sport, appreciating the myriad factors that contribute to success on the course. Golf is full of challenges, every day presents different conditions that affect how you play. I relish that challenge, whether it's working on driving, iron shots, or putting. It keeps me engaged, Sorenstam noted. For her, the tranquil nature of golf made it especially appealing during her formative years. Both athletes embody humility despite their accolades. While Clark might play golf merely to break 100, Sorenstam admits that three-pointers weren't her forte on the basketball court. Their humility allows them to navigate the spotlight without losing sight of their roots. "Life has changed significantly, but I strive to remain the same authentic individual I was when I first arrived on campus. It feels surreal, yet I try to cherish every moment," Clark expressed. Additionally, both Clark and Sorenstam draw inspiration from the younger generation of female athletes they meet at events, recognizing the potential impact they can have on the future of sports. Many women transition from sports to high-level corporate roles, and while people often speak of our influence on them, they also motivate us in return, Sorenstam shared, adding, "That's why we play. It's not solely about victories, it's about the joy we bring to others and the young girls watching who can envision whatever they aspire to be." Even after stepping away from competitive golf 16 years ago, Sorenstam remains a pillar in the sport, driven by a purpose that keeps her engaged. "The idea of waking up without a purpose terrifies me." What distinguishes these generational talents is not just their skills but how they leverage their gifts and the choices they make along the way. Caitlin is only just beginning her journey in golf. "She's just teed off, while I have already made the turn in my career," Sorenstam remarked. Considering Sorenstam's illustrious achievements by age 22, it's astounding to ponder what the future holds for the young and talented Clark, especially in an era where women's sports are experiencing unprecedented growth. Just imagine the trail she will blaze for future female athletes in the next 3 decades. Indiana Fever sensation Caitlin Clark is taking a swing at another golf pro-am on Wednesday. In a break from the hardwood, the former Iowa standout is looking to showcase her skills on the fairway alongside the pros, while the Golf Channel looks to showcase a generational star and a potential boost to the channel's profile. "Anytime you're able to get a special person like Caitlin Clark jumping into our sport, it's great for everybody," NBC Sports Executive Vice President of Golf Tom Knapp said on a phone call. For her to frankly put herself out there and show her golf skills in a pro-am alongside some of the best and most accomplished golfers in the world, it shows just how hard golf is. The WNBA Rookie of the Year is set to participate in an 18-hole pro-am titled the Annika at Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida, on Wednesday. Clark, who has been playing golf since she was 6 years old, will team up with world number 1 Nelly Korda for the first 9 holes and then will pair up with tournament host and 10-time LPGA champ Annika Sorenstam on the back 9. Clark's participation comes as part of her endorsement deal with Indiana-based insurtech company and tournament sponsor Gainbridge, which also holds the naming rights for the home of the Indiana Pacers and Fever, Gainbridge Fieldhouse. This isn't Clark's first appearance on the pro golf stage. Last summer, she participated in the John Deere Pro-Am where she played alongside two-time major winner and fellow Iowa native Zach Johnson. She'll follow up on that experience where she was a hit, signing autographs for fans throughout the 18 holes. It's the first time in recent years that Golf Channel has expanded coverage and programming for a Pro-Am event, as Knapp expects this event to deliver higher ratings than the network typically sees in that weekday time window. While the network has done some early viewership projections, Knapp says the costs associated to expand coverage are more based in long-term thinking than short-term returns, especially with the network holding rights to the LPGA, another women's sports property looking ride the momentum of growth across women's sports. When we decided to invest in this, we really didn't say, oh, it's going to do 2 or 3 times than what we normally would do, he said. We knew it would do better, but relative to the economics, this is good for everybody to shine a light on women's golf and women's sports. Honestly, we sharpened our pencils a little bit, but we didn't do a deep dive because we know that this return on investment by showing Caitlin will be good in the long run. Golf Channel's Golf Today show will start at 11 a.m. at the Annika, 90 minutes earlier than usual. Leveraging the manpower and equipment for the tournament, which starts on Thursday, the network is using the full complement of the telecast to cover the last hour of Clark's Pro-Am with highlights and live look-ins. The coverage will also include some tape of an interview with Golf Channel host and reporter Kira K. Dixon. Pro-Ams can be advantageous for networks to deliver unique content that gives viewers a better sense of a player's approach and preparation with potential interviews before, during shots and after an event. It's a slate of live practice round content that is difficult to duplicate when the tournament starts. The Golf Channel, which rarely televises Pro-Ams anymore, is looking to leverage one of the most popular athletes on the planet, a rising golf star and lesser-known legend who helped pave the way for today's growth. The added focus might be on Clark, but the national attention is expected to also rub off on Korda, who is a Nike-sponsored athlete as well. Clark, who is mulling an offer from alternative women's basketball league Unrivaled, isn't the first star athlete from bat and ball sports to take a strong interest in golf and see how they compete next to the pros. Baseball Hall of Famer John Smoltz, as well as future and current Basketball Hall of Famers Steph Curry and Michael Jordan, are also accomplished golfers. But this crossover comes at a peculiar time, as women's sports are getting more attention than ever. She's just getting started on one of the most iconic careers in professional sports, Knapp added. Let's leave her to the WNBA. But as often as she wants to dip her toe back in our world, we'd love to have her.